Jungkook's recent arrival in Japan immediately attracted widespread attention. Since landing, thousands of fans have crowded the airport and event venues just to catch a glimpse of BTS's maknae. Local media even reported on the incredible enthusiasm displayed by the fans. Wherever Jungkook was, the cheers of ARMY were loud. Many said that the welcome he received felt like a welcome fit for a king. Banners, gifts, and a sea of purple adorned every corner of the venues he visited. Jungkook himself was seen smiling shyly several times at the sight of so many people coming specifically for him. Occasionally, he held out his hand, bowed politely, and attempted to greet the fans who had been waiting for hours. Videos and photos of his arrival quickly spread across social media. Within hours, hashtags related to Jungkook were trending in many countries. Armies from around the world celebrated the moment and expressed pride in the immense love the Japanese public had for their idol. But amidst the joyous atmosphere, fans' attention suddenly shifted to someone else. Yes, Taehyung. Many armies have noticed that even though they're each pursuing their own careers, Taehyung's name is always present in every discussion about Jungkook. Their years-long friendship has kept fans connected through various important moments. Shortly after videos of Jungkook's arrival went viral, a message attributed to Taehyung began circulating in the fan community. The message was simple, but its meaning resonated deeply with many. The message spoke of pride, support, and the hope that someone would always be healthy and happy wherever they are. To others, it might just be a simple sentence. But for armies who have followed BTS's journey for years, these words felt deeply emotional. They recalled how Jungkook and Taehyung grew up together from a young age, overcoming difficult times as trainees, and ultimately achieving extraordinary success. It was this friendship that had weathered so many trials that made every small interaction between them meaningful. The comment section was immediately filled with touching reactions. I came to see the news about Jungkook in Japan, but instead, I cried thinking about their friendship. No matter how big they are now, their relationship remains the same as it was then. Why does this message make me feel so suffocated? The more fans read the message, the more moved they became. Many shared old photos of Jungkook and Taehyung, reminiscing about the long journey they've been on together. Amidst the glare of the spotlight and the extraordinary variety Jungkook received in Japan, fans were reminded of something more precious than fame. Namely, the people who have been by our side since the beginning of our journey. And that's why, when Jungkook was greeted like a king in Japan, a simple message attributed to Taehyung brought tears to the eyes of millions of armies worldwide. Because, for them, the story of a friendship that has endured for years is one of the most beautiful things they've ever witnessed. But what has many fans even more curious is one question that continues to arise after all this. As more videos of Jungkook's arrival in Japan circulate, more and more armies are trying to pay attention to every little detail they might have missed, from his facial expressions, to the way he smiles at fans, to the brief moments when he pauses in the crowd. For some, it's just a normal reaction from an artist receiving an overwhelming welcome. But for armies who have followed Jungkook for years, something feels different. Some fans even compare the new footage to old videos from when Jungkook was still actively promoting with the BTS members. They notice that behind his warm smile, there's a look of contemplation at times. Of course, no one knows for sure what's going on in his mind. But that doesn't stop fans from reminiscing about the moments he shared with Taehyung. Old photos are starting to resurface. Moments of them laughing together backstage, when they supported each other at big concerts. Many armies said that these memories were what made the message attributed to Taehyung so touching. Because the message came right at a time when Jungkook was receiving so much love from fans. It was as if it were a reminder that behind the spotlights, thunderous applause, and thousands of people chanting his name, there was a friendship that had accompanied his long journey for years. Soon after, several fan posts went viral. One wrote, The world sees Jungkook as a superstar, but those closest to him see him as the same Jungkook he always was. That simple sentence immediately garnered thousands of responses. Many expressed their touch, feeling that this was the reason why the BTS members' relationship was so beloved by fans worldwide. They weren't just colleagues. They were people who had grown up together, faced the same pressures, and shared the same dreams from a young age. That's why every message of support, no matter how small, felt even more meaningful. In Japan, the rapturous reception for Jungkook continued. His every appearance made news. Every appearance instantly becomes a hot topic. But amidst all the attention, many armies admit that their most memorable moments aren't the huge crowds or the cheers, but rather the warm feeling that arises when thinking about the bonds of friendship that have endured for years. The feeling that, even though time passes and many things change, some relationships remain. And perhaps that's why so many people cried when they heard the message. It wasn't because of the complex words. It wasn't because of any big, surprising confession. It was because the message reminded everyone of the meaning of support, loyalty, and togetherness. Something increasingly rare in today's fast-paced world. Meanwhile, Jungkook himself has yet to comment specifically on the buzz. But one thing is for sure. His arrival in Japan has left a deep impression on millions of fans. And for ARMY, this story isn't just about a star being welcomed like a king. Rather, it's about how a simple message can touch the hearts of millions, rekindle old memories, and make them believe that a genuine bond will always find a way to endure, even when separated by distance, time, and each person's busy schedule. From a teenager who left his hometown to pursue his dreams, to becoming one of the biggest stars in the world, every step of his life has been filled with challenges that aren't always visible to the public. Seeing thousands of people greet him in Japan, many fans reflected on the long journey he's traveled to reach this point. But at the same time, they also remembered the people who've been with him along the way. One of them was Taehyung. Taehyung's name once again filled the comments section. Not because of a new statement, not because of a new photo, but because many fans felt that a major moment Jungkook tried to continue the broadcast as usual, but the fans wouldn't stop discussing his words. Taehyung's name kept popping up in the comments section, making the live broadcast feel different than before. Every now and then, Jungkook would quickly scan the comments that passed by. He smiled, then shook his head as if he knew exactly what the fans were thinking. "I think you guys are imagining too much," he said with a chuckle. But the smile didn't last long. As he went back to reading the comments, his eyes landed on a simple message. "What do you miss most about Taehyung?" For the first time that night, Jungkook didn't answer immediately. He seemed to think for a long time. The previously lively atmosphere suddenly felt calm. Then he slowly said, "I think the way he makes people around him feel comfortable." That answer sparked thousands more comments. But Jungkook continued before the fans could react further. There are people who, when they walk into a room, the atmosphere immediately changes. He has that ability. His tone sounded sincere. Not like someone giving a casual compliment, but like someone who truly appreciated the person he was talking about. Jungkook then laughed softly, remembering something. And she's also very stubborn. That sentence immediately lightened the mood. Fans began flooding the comment section with laughter and emojis. But soon, Jungkook became serious again. He stared at the camera for a few seconds, as if deciding whether or not to say something. "There's one thing I might never say directly." That sentence immediately captivated the audience. Many even stopped typing comments just to listen. Jungkook took a deep breath. Then he said, When going through hard times, I learned that having someone who believes in you is incredibly valuable. No names were mentioned. No further explanation was given. But many ARMY felt that the sentence had a much deeper meaning than it seemed. Jungkook then smiled and bowed his head, as if realizing he had spoken more than usual. And just before moving on to another topic, he uttered one final sentence that would keep fans discussing the broadcast for days. Some relationships don't need to be explained. The people in them already understand everything. After that, Jungkook simply smiled. No explanation. No clarification. And that's precisely why the fans' curiosity grew. The night ended without a definitive answer. But one thing that left many ARMYs speechless was the fact that behind the spotlight, the busy schedule, and the constant attention of the world, there still existed a story of friendship filled with memories, respect, and trust that couldn't always be described in words. Jungkook had already bid farewell to the audience several times. He even reached for his water bottle and prepared to turn off the camera. But for some reason, he lingered a few minutes longer that night. The fans still filling the comments section continued to send questions. Some asked Jungkook to sing. Others asked him to tell them about his daily activities. But one topic remained dominant. Taehyung. Jungkook simply smiled every time that name came up. He no longer tried to change the subject. He seemed to accept that the fans were indeed eager to hear stories about his best friend that night. Then a comment caught his attention. If you could go back to one moment with Taehyung, what would you want to relive?